In order to be a good special effects makeup artist, you really need to have a strong grasp of color theory. When I do all my aging makeups and stuff, you need to be able to, kind of do grooming and beauty makeups on top of them as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And understanding color theory, which is really important when you're, a male groomer or makeup artist for the film industry, because one size never fits all. And which is why I love, water-based high def airbrush makeup. And I've used it my entire career because it's easy to custom make those foundations because, you can get close, but it's just so much better to do if you have the skill set and the training to use color theory in order to do a perfect match.
Yeah.
Or to color correct things like dark circles under the eyes, melasma, rosacea, acne scarring, this, that, and the other. When the Goonies came out.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
Oh, and I fell in love with Sloth. Hey, you guys! And that's still, to this day, one of the most brilliant animatronic practical makeup effects I've ever seen. So there was that, and then the next year, my aunt took me to the premiere of The Lost Boys. And that was all she wrote, bro.
You're hooked.
I was hooked.
Monsters and vampires. Makes sense.
Yes.
So the big question is this: how are creators like us, who aren't built for the 9-to-5, for the people who put their passion before them being comfortable, how do we turn that passion into a living that pays the bills and a life that we love? That is the question. This podcast will give you the answers. My name is Noah Mittman, and welcome to Conversations with Creators.
Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Creators. I am here with a longtime friend and amazing makeup artist, Corey Taylor Bryant. Welcome to the show, Corey. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me, Noah.
I got to real quick give a shout out to my beer sponsor at Wood Boss Brewing. This is the
Go beer.
Foggy Trees Easy IPA. I know.
No, save me one of those. You gave me some last time I was there, but that looks really awesome.
So thank you, Woods Boss Brewing Company. You guys rock. So,
yeah.
Okay. You've been a makeup artist for a long time. How many years of experience would you say, like, if you were to?
Well, it depends on what kind of experience, but basically I started coloring my own hair and doing makeup when I was about 12 and was doing weddings and other things by the time I was probably 15 or 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there hasn't been a person I've ever met that I haven't done their wedding hair and makeup. But then I took a nice long 15-year reprieve as an executive at IBM, which turns out money does not make you happy if you're an artist. And so I guess it'll be 15 years in January that I quit the corporate hang, started my own company, was lucky enough back then nobody was murdering anyone on Craigslist. We didn't have the Craigslist murder. And I got my first nationwide show the day after I incorporated and threw my website up through Craigslist for free speech and Occupy the Media.
Craigslist actually came through for something? That's crazy.
Well, this was like 15 years ago, bro. So
yeah.
It was like before all those shenanigans and stuff. Now the only thing that's on there is porn film work. There's not enough makeup or hand sanitizer in the world to get me to go down that road.
We've all mistakenly applied for a porn film off of Craigslist, and then they're like, "Will you be supplying the models?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, this is not."
There's no models, but yeah.
So what got you into? So you started with kind of weddings and stuff. When did you switch to?
Oh no, that was just like a bystander to it. Literally, what got me into makeup came when I was pretty young. Probably like, I think it might have been like 11 when the Goonies came out.
Nice. Yeah, of course.
Oh, and I fell in love with Sloth. Hey, you guys! And that's still, to this day, one of the most brilliant animatronic practical makeup effects I've ever seen. So there was that, and then the next year, my aunt took me to the premiere of The Lost Boys. And that was all she wrote, bro.
You're hooked.
I was hooked.
Monsters and vampires. Makes sense.
Yes, but I also really love history. I mean, I have a master's in British literature, so it's another big thing I
I
always.
didn't know you had a master's. What?
Oh, I have two very useless masters: British literature and sociocultural anthropology. But, well, at the time they were useless.
That.
With Native American studies. Neither one were hiring when I got out of college, hence my going to work at IBM. But now I use both of them all the time with my work. And I'm like, Mom, I told you I would make that worth the money. You know, it'd all come back and be useful. And so I love hearing
Than me. On my resume, literally it says 9/10 of a film degree.
Well,
That's
that's more than most people who are big deals in the industry. And
No, I know. Yeah, it's
it's
like
jobs like mini
nobody
jobs.
cares about film school.
What's the point of going to school and accruing tons of debt when you can't pay off your student loans? That's why we have a shortage of doctors,
Yeah.
psychiatrists, everything.
So my sister, she's on track. She's graduating in December to become a physical therapist. So
Oh, that's
no,
good. Yeah, I do love that.
with your work, kind of talk me through the differences. I mean, obviously there's, pretty big ones, but what are the overlaps in beauty makeup and special effects makeup? And
Oh, they totally. I mean, I'm of the philosophy to a certain degree that I mean, I've been able to be successful in a non-union market like Colorado for 15 years because I did it all, like hair, makeup, male grooming, beauty, trauma triage, character, and stuff like that. But in order to be a good special effects makeup artist, you really need to have a strong grasp of color theory. When I do all my aging makeups and stuff, you need to be able to, kind of do grooming and beauty makeups on top of them as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And understanding color theory, which is really important when you're, a male groomer or makeup artist for the film industry, because one size never fits all. And which is why I love, water-based high def airbrush makeup. And I've used it my entire career because it's easy to custom make those foundations because, you can get close, but it's just so much better to do if you have the skill set and the training to use color theory in order to do a perfect match.
Yeah.
Or to color correct things like dark circles under the eyes, melasma, rosacea, acne scarring, this, that, and the other.
Well, I'm interested too because I know that like a lot of, especially movies shoot in RAW, which is very flat when they're seeing it on screen. So like you have to work a lot, I'm sure, with the camera department and stuff to make sure the skin tones are like matched.
That's why you have to read it. They call reading it on camera.
Yeah.
And that's why, once you're done, you always have to have someone from the hair and makeup team on monitor.
Right.
Because with shadows change or lighting changes, things that looked great 5 minutes ago don't necessarily any longer. So
yeah, you don't want to have a bunch of Trump faces walking around with the orange.
No, or like the Jersey Shore thing where like a super tan face and then they just stop right here and you're like, whoa.
You have like a spray tan competition with the Jersey Shore and Trump being judges.
Well, at least the Jersey Shore got the color of a tan mostly, right? I don't know what's going on with that, but there's a reason why nobody knows who his personal hair and makeup artist is because they probably don't want to admit that they're responsible and work with that atrocity. So
walk me through a typical day, like on a TV set or a film set as a makeup artist. Like what? Because also I love this because you're usually one of the first people in the door because you got it.
Yeah, definitely.
You got early mornings. What's maybe not the earliest, but what's like an average early time to give people an idea?
It kind of depends on whether it's more straight makeup or special effects. Because as you know, some of the things that I do, like with Walking Dead or, aging makeups, they take hours to accomplish.
Yeah.
And that also, also depends on how many people you have to run through. And depending on the budget, if it's you running the whole show, hair, makeup, and special effects, which, as you know, is usually the deal that I was stuck with in Colorado.
Yeah.
But when I have a team, then it makes it exponentially easier. So there are a lot of factors that go into it. But I mean, I would say if it's like some pretty intense special effects, hours before.
Yeah.
the actor and ours, because then everyone else.
So we're talking like what, like 4 a.m?
Well, it depends on if it's a day shoot or a night shoot or whatever. I mean, I would say like 4 hours in advance if you were doing something like a full blown walker or a detailed aging makeup or.
Yeah, for sure. So we're talking so say like what, sun up is like 7ish. So you're there at 3 a.m. to, get all the.
Well, I would say there've been a handful of times back when I was in Colorado where I was running against a clock and it was just me, myself, and I, that I've had a couple of like 3, 4, 5 a.m. calls, and then still have to do, and everyone else shows up later. So I'm longer on set because who's going to take everything off, which can take not as much time because you're not having to keep it pristine and then paint and color it, but you can't just rip prosthetic grade adhesive prosthetics off of someone's face. You got to go slow and steady because, as a Buddhist, I would feel awful if I damaged someone's skin. I know not everyone felt that way, but
no, it's like you and the grip department are there early and late.
Lighting, yep, and a lot of times set deck and stuff. But then there are other times like where you're much later in the day because either they're starting the day with B-roll or something along those lines or whatever, and it takes they're just being able to get onto location at say 5 or 6 a.m. and they have to set it up all the way from scratch. Like when people shoot an Airbnb, it's not like they're there the night before. And so they'll call you in. So typically if it's just straight, like with commercials and everything else, and just like kind of the straight makeup and grooming, I'm usually called in anywhere from, depending on if it's union or non-union, called in anywhere like from an hour to 30 minutes beforehand, because for the most part, a lot of the commercial stuff and this, that, and the other, I mean, you could get there, load in, and set up and be ready for the first call for talent in 30 minutes. So.
No, it's good. But it is interesting that there's always a bit of your before and after everybody else. So one of the hardest working people there for sure. What are some of your most proud like resume tickers that you've had so far?
Oh God, that sounds so like braggartly to go into that.
Oh, brag. This is where you brag.
I think I'm more proud of the ability that some of my more challenging clients or, clients that were going to be on camera, but were like rocket scientists or whatever, never been on camera, who like go to the spotlight. And basically, I think one of the most important things about being a really good hair and makeup artist is, being able to read a room and adjust your approach to each individual actor. Some of them like to listen to their lines, on headphones and don't want to be talked to. Some of them will literally treat you like they're bartender, shrink, and priest all rolled into one. And I've been told I'm like, "Hi, I'm Cory," and they'll be like, "Oh, I had an abortion last week," and I'm like, "Nice to meet you. What was your name?"
I got some crazy shit last night. You want to hear about it? I don't even know you. We're here for the next 2 hours. Let's do it.
Like even the biggest actors in the world, you're catching them as a makeup artist, especially. You're catching them in their most vulnerable.
Oh yeah.
Space, and being able to convert, reading the energy of that particular person and convert your approach and readjusting that, maybe changing some of that energy and getting them into the right headspace. They can go out there and do what they do best. And that's
a very good point. I like serious, especially like if it's a real intense scene, or if there's something that they got to get into, and like you can kind of help the performance by getting them clear.
If they're having a bad day or over, or they've never been on camera before and are very uncomfortable by the whole thought of it and scared to death. So that to me is like one of the best parts and the thing I'm most proud of. But I like to say sometimes, especially in my experiences, don't Google your talent beforehand if they're someone you're a fan of, and don't meet your heroes. And if you meet your heroes, definitely don't Google them. Yeah. Because like that is like a lot of stuff swimming in your head with some of the stuff you find out about some of these people that you idolize. So I did an amazing pilot, which last year won Best Independent Pilot at Series Fest, which is the international and it's
Huge.
line. Yeah. And I got to work with someone who had been my hero and was one of the reasons why I wanted to work in movies. Obviously, Quentin Tarantino had a huge influence on my life when I was in college. That was
all of us.
Yeah, that's when Reservoir Dogs came out, which is still one of my favorite movies to this day, especially Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen. And then he was in the pilot, so I got to shoot an effect where he gets shot in the face by the guys from the Broken Lizard comedy troupe, the guys from Super Troopers.
Yeah. I saw the set photos for that. I'm so excited to see when it
was. It's so amazing. Hopefully someone picks it up. It's a brilliant show. I mean, it was literally
you can't go wrong. Listen, it's very hard to go wrong with the Broken Lizard guys.
Yeah, and then most of them were so just wonderful. And I also did an amazing film that did really well. That actually, my mom, it's the first. I took her to the premiere, and she laughed so hard that she was like tears streaming down her face. And she does not typically. Hell, I won't even watch half the movies and stuff I've done in Colorado because independent and all. And they're cool. But this one I loved. And
it's okay. It's okay, Colorado. She lives in Atlanta now. It's all good.
No, but
she still loves you, clients.
I do. I love Colorado, and I hope to go back. I just need to make enough money to retire there.
Yeah, it's fair.
I want, but we've all done some crazy, dumb, independent horror films, and that we wouldn't personally.
That's exactly what I've done. It's exactly what I've done. It's some crazy, dumb, independent horror films.
No,
I actually died on camera, which was cool, but.
Oh yeah, I had to be still like clown that I designed, and I have a phobia of clowns in film.
You weren't even acting. They were just like, "Oh, I made you look scary, and now this is really bad for me."
Oh yeah, and then they would of course try to do that. But no, most of the stuff I've done in Colorado, I absolutely love, but it never comes out.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Not theater.
We all know that they blow their wad with production and they overshoot. Yeah. And then and with the pandemic and the lockdown and people being out of work for so long because we were treated like the immigrants, redheaded stepchildren of the United States because we're W-9 income people and unemployment is only W-2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it is right in that gap of you're totally fucked.
Yeah, exactly, and no help. And somehow, I've owned a business that's successful for 12 years, and I applied to get $10,000 during the pandemic for my business so I could help keep up with the artists who work with me and for me. And I was turned down, and somehow Kanye West, that nutbag, who's worth bajillions, got $50 billion or $50 million. And I'm like, yeah, that totally tracks. Love you, America.
All right, so I'm gonna. I know you're not comfortable talking about it, but I'm gonna do it rapid fire. I'm gonna do it rapid fire, just so we get some context.
Let's talk about music.
No, hold up. Rapid fire. I got 10 fingers. Give me 10 celebrities or people that you are excited to do makeup on that you've done it.
All right, you count it down for me. Michael Madsen, Broken Lizard comedy troupe, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, obviously.
That counts as one.
Yeah, even though it's music and a film, and I redesigned some things in Casa Bonita.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
And let's see, Oliver Tree.
Nice.
Yep, at his first sold out Red Rock show. Ween, Primus, Widespread Panic.
A lot of music, nice.
Von Miller,
yep.
Lindsey Vonn, and my favorite new athlete, Jamal Murray.
Solid.
From the not Super Bowl, whatever the basketball thing is, tournament.
In the NBA?
Or Nuggets.
Yeah, sports ball.
Sports ball, ball for sports.
But no, yeah, that's quite a resume. That's and again, it's such a mixture of I feel like for some of the sports people, they just want to kind of chill on their phone versus the actors are trying to get into their thing. Yeah, so
get me started on the stories I could tell you about that. I'm like, dude, you're 6'8", I just had back surgery and you're making me do the limbo because you're bent over with your 8-finger forehead on your phone all the time. Like, throw me a bone here, buddy.
So actually, this is interesting. What do you think are some key differences in the approach to makeup for different eras or genres in film and television?
I would say more about, it would be more about media. So live and stage or live stage film is very different than, say, commercials versus, films, depending on what camera they're being shot on, the lighting situations or whatever. And then working in music videos and with, bands and stuff like that. Or like I did the press junket for Dr. Sleep, and I was the personal for the director of Dr. Sleep.
We just rewatched that the other day. That movie is fucking chilling.
Brilliant. Yeah, that was like a highlight of my career.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor, hello. He's like
literally,
hello there. Sean Connery, hello there. And it was just so wonderful because it was at the Stanley Hotel, and it was like, there was all the
you don't get better than that. That's
no. And then they had like the big after party or whatever. It was like Monster High prom or something. Like it's all done up, all kooky and all that stuff. But that's in the winter and there's snow and we're outdoors. So you got the reflection of snow with lights and things like that, and the different shadows as the sun, because it's outside, as the sun moves across the horizon. So there's a lot of differences with that. I would say as far as like theater and live stage and things like that, because of those situations and circumstances, you have to up level certain things like lips and cheek and, eyes and stuff so that they'll read, to the wider audience and on.
Because they're getting blown out by a whole deck of lights. Yeah.
Like just washed out, and sometimes, if it's someone who's not used to, not really in the industry, they'll just be like, oh my God, and I look like a hooker. And I'm like, here's a picture. How do you think you look?
Yeah, exactly. Here's you on stage.
You look like a creepy Kardashian if you walked outside and went to brunch in it, but it's perfect for what we're doing today.
Yeah. No, I remember I did musical theater in high school, and I remember the like after show. It was in California, so it wasn't Denny's. It was Nations Burgers, and we would always be there like 9-10 o'clock at night after the evening show, in just the whole table, guys and girls, full makeup, going crazy. Theater days were great.
I got my start in theater and musical theater. I was actually an award-winning theater actress. From the time I was about 7 and through, I think I stopped doing theater as an actress, probably my sophomore year in college.
All right, we're adding child star to your resume.
Oh God, no. Award-winning in New Jersey. I played Juliet in the New Jersey Shakespeare Festival. I won.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. The coolest part was the costumes and the fact that my drama teacher, we had a beautiful theater, and the drama teacher's brother had won the Tony that year, and it was just amazing experience. That's the only good thing about New Jersey overall forever. Oh, the Italian food was really good too. So, but
tell me about
started makeup.
Tell me about your favorite special effects makeup job that you, or specifically what it was that you made.
Oh, okay. Probably one of my hands down favorites is I work with this amazing band out of LA called Rosu, and they're kind of like a little like Linkin Park, kind of like one screamy singer and then one more melodic singer, and really heavy. And I'm a big fan of
Linkin Park is one of my faves.
Yep. But so I've worked with them on a lot of their videos. I love the establishing relationships, and they threw me a challenge. The first video we did together when I first met them, they wanted this character. We shot in this decrepit old abandoned barn in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, to where you had to climb a ladder up and down. And it was 20 degrees, and I was doing this makeup, and I think it might have been Troy Tennix or Buddy's really old kind of rundown fifth wheel and the only way that we could get heat in there, because obviously, you know, with using like foam latex or prosthetic glues, prosaids and stuff, they freeze. They have a flash point where they freeze and they turn solid, like completely change their chemical compound, never to go back to being liquid. So you have to be careful with that. And so the only way we could warm it up in there on that day, because it was also super windy too, was by turning on all 4 or 2 of the gas burners. And as you know, like everything we use in special effects is like flammable AF. And so it was kind of challenging, but they told me they wanted, because they knew I'd worked with The Walking Dead and all that stuff, they wanted a cross between Eddie from Iron Maiden and straight up Walker.
That's a good challenge.
It was awesome. It's definitely one of my more popular, famous, or well-known makeups that I did. And then I also...
you said that was for a music video, right?
Yeah, it was for one of the music videos for them.
Send me the link to that and we'll put it in the show notes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, all this stuff's on my Insta, and I just did all those new reels and stuff. But then also another one of my favorites was that pilot I was telling you about offline, where I had to basically do an effect indicating that Michael Madsen, who's kind of the bad guy or whatever, he gets shot in the face with a shotgun by the...
No spoilers, sorry.
No, it's awesome. But anyway, so obviously they don't show it from that angle. All of the injury and trauma typically from any kind of gun injury or caliber is through the back end. The exits where it...
Right. The hole in the head.
So I had to do like a shotgun blast to the face and the exit wound of brains, bone matter, and everything else out of the backside of the head. That was...
Was that... Were you on the kind of, obviously there's an air can on that, but were you responsible for the matter going out, or were you just like on the head itself?
Oh yeah, no. Whoa. Shoot. Hold on.
We're good.
It just, my computer
glitched out for a second. That happens.
The way that they had shot it, because, you know, it was independent at the time in spite of the very illustrious cast.
Right? Hell of a cast.
Yeah. I mean, that's not even all of it. The lead in it is a French actress whose name escapes me, but she had just been in this amazing film that was about World War II and zombies. She's French, who learned how to speak English from her Australian boyfriend. So you don't even want to know. Like, none of us could understand a word that in it.
Oh my God.
Because
French Australian accent. That is...
Yeah. A French Australian accent speaking English. And so it was like French and Australian. It was like a combo. Like,
yeah. Gabe Dorn directed that, right?
Who?
Gabe Dorn.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I love him. He's brilliant.
He's been a homie for a long time.
That is my favorite.
Yeah, it's awesome.
One of my favorite productions I've been on, but stories. Like everything about it is funny and brilliant and timely. So, and it was just such a joy. And I don't know if you knew this, but it was literally the week of Memorial Day, like end of May. And we were in Gold Hill, about 30 miles up the mountain from Boulder. And we got hit with 12 inches of snow, blizzards every single day. Everyone had come in from LA. Nobody had the right clothes. I only had like capri jeans. And so I had to tie little, like my artist rags around my ankles to protect from where my combat boots ended, and that was exposed before my freaking capri pants started.
I have a quick story about LA with LA and Colorado, which is great. Actually it's out now, which I haven't posted the photo. Anyway, I was a PA on Best in Snow, a Disney show. Hey friends, it's your podcast buddy Noah Midmid here, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of my passion projects, my clothing brand, Clothing for Creators. Roll the tape.
If my life were a movie, the hero's big speech would end with, "Stop waiting, start creating." Because that's the drive behind my story. Like when I couldn't afford to finish film school. So instead, I started my own production company and gave myself a trial by fire YouTube business degree. And it's not just me with these kinds of stories. There is this growing movement of passionate, creative, flow state writing, hustling, persistent creators and entrepreneurs that are taking the internet and the world by storm.
Everybody told me I wasn't going to be able to make any money as an artist. Now, 15 years later, I've worked on 3 continents. I do own my house. My shop, I'm booked out 8 months ahead. I don't subscribe to being a starving artist.
Creativity and I are very deep, dark lovers. I've just decided I'm just going to make stuff. And even if it's not perfect, like, it's getting made.
You're going to think that there's right answers and there's not. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Let's just throw dye on it and it'll look great.
You don't need rules some old guy in a suit made up. You don't need anyone telling you that your voice doesn't matter. We are makers, creative types, side hustlers, doers. Why? Because we get shit done.
The most important thing every single day is just to get your shit done.
Just keep doing it, keep producing, keep creating, and as you do that, you're going to start becoming the person that you want to be.
Don't be scared to try. Commit. You can't half-ass do something. We're full-ass around here.
So there's a film you need to make, a company you need to create, a voice you need to share, a product you know the world needs. Put all of yourself into it until anyone who has ever doubted you starts asking you for a job. Then you get to play for a living. You get to create community.
Partnerships, collaborations, building bonds with people that like the same stuff you like.
You get to live with your heart on your sleeve, a smile on your face, and a solid answer to when anybody asks, why do you do what you do?
Sometimes you have to say fuck all the rules to get something that you really need to get out of yourself.
You don't need the opinion of the old guy in the suit.
You have to give yourself permission to just go. A little less conversation, a little more action.
Clothing for creators. Go check out snowmanfilms.shop today.
Hey there, fellow creatives. Conversations with Creators dives deep into the minds of successful filmmakers, artists, musicians, and all-around awesome people. We are looking for some kick-ass sponsors to help us keep this show on the road. If you want to reach a tribe of dedicated listeners who are just as passionate about creating as you are, then look no further. Our audience is full of people who appreciate a good laugh and are always on the lookout for new ways to fuel their creativity. So, let's team up and create some magic together. We'll work with you to make sure that your brand is showcased in the best light possible. And who knows, maybe we'll even become lifelong friends. Just imagine, years from now, we'll be reminiscing about the good old days when we first teamed up to take the world by storm. Send us an email at noah@snowmanfilms.net to say hey and get the ball rolling. Now back to the episode. And
oh my God, I love Disney movies. That sounds awesome.
yeah, it was super fun. It was wild. I got to meet Kermit and everything. It was awesome. But Kermit and Titus from Kimmy Schmidt.
I didn't. Okay, so not Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog, yeah.
I didn't know that was a Disney product.
Yeah, the best in snow. Anyway, so we were shooting in at Loveland, anyway, what was it? But I was taking the one of the executives and producers. We were trying to go to Loveland Pass to they're going to scope out getting a drone shot. I'm going literally 30 miles an hour.
Was it snowing?
No, it was there was snow around, but it was like the road was fine.
Oh.
This guy did not. He was like, "Oh, all right, we can slow down." I'm like, "I'm going 30, man. Like, I live in the mountains. You got nobody else driving this car right now."
Exactly. Not only that, but like.
But he literally told me to slow down like 4 times. I think we ended up getting to the top at like 15 or 20 miles an hour because he just could not handle the height. I was like trying not to laugh. I was like, if I laugh, I might get fired. But like, dude, we're on a road.
If you can't possibly die while doing it, what's the point? You and I are both extreme sports people, so
I was kind of cracking up to myself on that one. I was like, all right, you haven't even seen like a hill is a mountain to you apparently.
Oh yeah, I mean LA, come on. They don't get a lot of snow there.
No, I mean that's wild. I mean
they shut down the whole state if they get a snow or ice storm.
Oh yeah. If they, I mean,
they don't have the infrastructure. It's so rare.
That's one of my favorite memes I've seen. Was like it's like 2 ice cubes on the ground, and they're like, "In snow in Texas, well, better shut the schools down."
Yeah, like last year, my dad in Texas, and he lives near Hillsboro, kind of between Dallas and Austin, and they got like more snow than we did.
Yeah, right, and it shut everything. I mean, just
and then this year. Dude, you guys got snow the earliest I can remember in the 20-something years I lived there. It was like before Halloween or something, right?
We got a snowstorm before Halloween this year. We got
That's
2
what I'm
days.
saying.
It
Like,
cleared
that's
a good
the
amount,
first
but
time I've
like
seen
it was like, come on, this is ridiculous.
3 days, man. I heard it was like a lot of inches. Fortunately,
Yeah, no, we got. I think we got like a foot up here in Evergreen.
Oh yeah, but it snowed like Friday to Sunday. I heard.
Yeah.
Like in the national news.
Oh, I know. It was huge. But what's nice is it let the ski resorts open, so we're going next week as our first day. So back to kind of makeup. What advice would you give to makeup artists trying to come up in TV, film, all the kind of aspects that you do? Like, what's not like, I don't know, something practical, something like realistic for people that want to start off.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've helped a lot of people, and I've had a lot of assistants and mentees over the last 15 years. The one thing I have noticed, but I know if I say about I'm really thinking, then people are going to think I hate millennials and like start sending you hate mail. But a lot of the people, let's just say in the vanity.
Our tens of watchers and listeners are
okay, cool. I would say like do the work. Like no, like it's got to be either you have to be totally insane, which we all are, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Or just like know that you were put on the earth to do this, and there's nothing else you could or would want to do. Like you got to make the commitment because it's not easy. You got to pay your dues.
Those go hand in hand, by the way. You got to be crazy enough to think you can actually succeed, and then also not be afraid of the work. Yeah,
do the work, and that's what I've noticed lately in the last several years. Is a lot of people aren't willing to do the work. They get my name from somewhere, from someone, and they just kind of want to just walk right in. And I stopped doing that because I was not only doing a huge disservice to myself when inevitably they would, try to steal my clients or talk bad about me, undercut my pricing and all that stuff and things that hurt my feelings. And I have a sensitive feeler.
She's very sensitive.
But also I was raised by baby boomers. I'm Gen X, and like my work ethic is solid. I mean, there's a reason I was an executive at IBM and then moved into this and started my own company and haven't had, fortunately, knocking on wood, to do anything else in the last 15 years. And I've been able to also support a small team of other amazing, gifted and talented, hardworking artists who have the same mindset and philosophy that I do. And that's really amazing. But one thing I will say is like, it's not glamorous. Yeah. So if you're getting into it because you think you're going to, marry Justin Bieber when you do his makeup on a video, never going to happen. You don't get to walk the red carpet. You get to do the people's makeup who walk the red carpet. It's hard, tough work, especially in the independent and lower budget scene. As you know, I mean, we've all, shot in the mountains, slept in a tent, slept in a Bates motel, worked a million.
When we say you have to love it, that's what we mean. Like again, what you were saying with the film or the music video, like snowy mountains, cold as shit, hard to get to set, and then trying to heat up special effects makeup that is flammable on gas. Like it's well, I mean, you got to really be like, and then you have to go home at the end of that day and be like, this was the best day ever.
Right. And then when you're starting out in your career, and I know you know this better than anyone too, you have to pay your dues. So I mean, I came from, I'd always been a hair and makeup artist, but I came from a corporate, world. And, after 6 spinal fusions and like realizing that all of the money and benefit, healthcare, pension, all that stuff that I had couldn't fix me, my soul and inside. And I had 6 spinal fusions by then. I've only had 1 in the last 10 years, and that was due in large part from the pandemic lockdown. But I always got up like a month later and went skiing and stuff. You have to pay your dues and learn from the ground up. There's no skipping the line because, you can't really move forward, and you don't get, like I have been lucky enough to have, all these longtime beloved clients that I'm, during the strike now, being in a union state, I'm flying back every other week.
Which, by the way, you don't get those if you don't do good work. Good work,
Exactly. And
good
be
work. So
reliable.
it's putting in the hours and stuff, but also like you have to be
The attitude.
good at what you do.
Yeah, which takes time and practice. You know what I mean? You never learn it all. And I still take master classes to this day. In fact, like a
Always
month
learn.
ago,
Always.
I took this amazing master class on makeup department heading for makeup and hair by a very well-known and respected, award-winning, longtime makeup artist. Her name is Kim Green. And so my mentor is named Kim Jones, and she did the Haunted Mansion. And so I get them because
Oh, that must have been a fun gig.
oh yeah, no lie, right? But I still took that class because because of how I came up in Colorado, I've almost always been the key or the department head for everything. And it's not, you can't just be a good hair or makeup artist and be a department head, because the department head job is a lot more about working out the budget, doing the makeup designs, hiring your team of like-minded, talented people, and then running that show. There's a lot more to it, which is where I feel like, spending the first 15 years of my career in corporate America and being an expert in contract language and risk assessment, and all those things has really, helped a lot.
You had the business side experience already going in, and then the artist side came out, which is usually the opposite of creative.
Yeah. But that's the thing is, like, you can be creative. It's called show business, people. It's not like show up when you feel like it hungover or whatever.
I mean, be hungover, but make it to the 6 a.m. call time.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do what I have to do. I mean, there's so many, like, I never cancel last minute.
No.
I work sick.
Because you won't get hired again.
Well, not just that, but it's, for me, it's probably, my Pollyanna Buddhist stuff. It's more about honoring your commitments and showing up. And like, if makeup doesn't show up, the show doesn't go on. And you cost, smaller budgets, thousands of dollars they don't have, and bigger budget stuff even more, because then you're having to track someone down. So anytime I've like been sick enough to where I couldn't, go on set, or during the one time I got COVID, because obviously I was a CCO for a very long time, the most certified one in Colorado, because everyone somehow thought makeup was the germiest place. I'm like, it's the only safe place. Why do you think I stay in the makeup room all the time? I do believe in, like, there's a reason I won't, like in Colorado, a lot of people smoke pot on set and stuff. But if I were to, take a shot of Jameson or smoke pot and stab someone in the eye and with a mascara on and permanently blind them, I mean, the chemicals I use and just the things that I do with my job can be very dangerous. So you need the training.
Yeah.
You need to do the training, not just be like, oh, well, I do awesome Halloween costumes and I work at a haunted house and I do cosplay. That does not make you a film special effects makeup artist.
Oh, no.
Different.
I mean, exactly what we just talked about. That is closer to theater and live. It's not dealing with camera color. It's not dealing with,
well, you're not dealing with
lighting. I mean, a little bit of lighting, but like,
99% isopropyl alcohol, Prozade, like so much stuff is, you have to be very careful. Like, you could permanently damage someone's skin.
Yeah.
You could permanently maim or blind them. And I would never be able to live with myself if not. And I've seen too much, honestly, in the last 15 years of people, undercutting my rates as a trained, experienced special effects makeup artist, and using, someone who, is self-taught only and has never worked, with some of these things. Mm-hmm. And inevitably you get what you pay for. But it's really unethical, I feel like, for artists to not, like, even basic, wedding hair and makeup artists or whatever. There's a reason why a lot of states, like over half states, require you to have a cosmetology license to do makeup and an esthetician's license and a barber cosmo license for hair, because there are sanitary, like, we have very strict guidelines, from the oh god, what is it called? The consumer, whatever the watchdogs are for like consumer things, like where you report someone because you went to a nail salon and they cut you, and then you got gangrene, your toe fell off or
The
whatever.
Better Business Bureau?
Dirty tools. No, it's actual state agency,
Oh, okay.
but it escapes me now. But the point being is like, no matter if you're in TV and film or consumer based with any of this stuff, you still need training. If for no other reason, like a lot of us are artists by nature. My canvas happens to be the human skin and body. I can't even barely draw a stick figure, so there's that. And some people were artists who became makeup artists and create the most beautiful creature creations or makeups or this, that, and the other. But that's not all the job is. There's, there's licenses, there's safety and health code requirements that if something were to happen on a film set and you don't know what you're doing or you cause problems, then that film set is going to be sued. I mean, if you're smart enough to have an LLC, but usually those people who do stuff like that aren't smart enough to have an LLC. But either way, if you're on union, that goes to the production. So, and you're making it, to the fact that your reputation's going to be ruined. That film will probably never get finished, come out, or get made because of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
No, that's good. No, that honestly, like, not to sound like overwhelming to people, but like, there's a lot involved. It is a film. A film is an economy, essentially. There's a lot of shit happening. There's a lot of regulations and all that stuff.
Even consumer stuff too, or stage or whatever.
Right.
Like I've been doing hair and makeup since I was 12, my whole life, even when I worked, in corporate America. But when I decided to quit and start my own company, the very first thing I did was take my pension that I cashed out and go to LA to take master classes at Cinema Makeup School, where a lot of my friends and mentors and idols like V. Neil, Aaron and Mike McCash, Cato DeStefano, all of the, Tammy Lane, all these amazing people. And some of them have even taught there, but you learn from the best to be the best. And you got to check your ego at the door. There's no room in this industry. That's all taken up by people above the line. The below the line people, they ain't no more room for ego.
You got to grind it out.
Yeah. And just stay positive and love your life, man. That's like the best thing. And that's, I think, truly the reason I've been able to do this, very late in life as a second act and very quickly compared to some in a state that isn't a film state, has no film incentives and no film union to speak of, is because, it's your job to, read a room, provide whatever energy and things that the talent needs to go out and do their job the best. And just be grateful, man. I get paid pretty well, I might add, to have Halloween be every day sometimes. Or like, I don't even believe this is a real job, man. And sure, broke most of the time. This 6-month strike is not helping anybody. It's very awful, but I just try to always be grateful and present, because the reason that I became so obsessed with makeup and effects, from Lost Boys and Reservoir Dogs and True Romance, another one of my favorites, is because I am the biggest fan of TV and movies and books and music that you will ever, ever, ever meet. Yep. And you got to be a fan. In my opinion, you got to love what you're doing, because it is hard and grueling. Some days are like 8 hours. Some days are like 24 hours straight. And you don't know what that's going to be until you're halfway through. So
it is, no, honestly, especially on set days when, the wife is like, hey, what time are you going to be home? And I'm like, honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like, I have no idea. You should know this already. Like, I'd stop telling like Andy or, people making plans when I was working on something of that nature, like a film or whatever, because I had learned too many times the hard way that I was like wasting money on concerts and hockey games I couldn't go to because I was stuck at work. And
yeah.
You miss a lot of family birthdays, including your own, and holidays and stuff like that. At least in the beginning you do, until to build it up. But you got to be tenacious and be grateful, and just, like I always say, follow your bliss, 311.
Follow your bliss. There you go.
And,
So
stay
I had a
positive and
couple
love your
of
life.
I got a couple of personal questions to kind of end off here. And I think you kind of covered it a little bit already with this last kind of bit, but is there any other piece of advice that you would give yourself for the version of yourself 10 years ago?
Yeah, don't listen to your mom. You know, I wanted to move to LA after college to be an actress. You know, I eventually would have figured out that was never gonna, you know, a lot more longevity and work for women of my age or a certain age behind the camera. And I honestly love it.
Honestly, just a lot more work in general behind the camera, no matter what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
and I also find it way more rewarding. But you know, don't listen to the naysayers. 311 also said, "Fuck the naysayers; they don't mean a thing," and it's true. Like, but a lot of us get too bogged down in what other people think of us or pressure from family. Like, my mom was just worried. You know, I mean, I had a curfew on prom night, and when I would come home from college on summers, like crazy stuff like that. But
you live life.
just listen. I would say listen to your gut. Like, follow your heart. Listen to your gut. Don't let anyone talk you out of it, turn you away, steal your sunshine. None of it.
Yeah.
You know, just brush that shit off and develop a very thick skin. And also
Armor skin.
well, that and duck feathers. Just let out the bad shit roll right off your back and breathe in the good shit.
I love that. I love the duck, but yeah, shed your feathers when you need to.
Yep, exactly. Be waterproof, man.
All right, this one's gonna be hard. You ready?
All right.
What's the title of your memoir?
Oh my God. I was just talking to my client in LA yesterday. He thought I was hilarious for some reason. Yesterday was the anniversary of, you know, the whole left at the altar 5 minutes before thing.
Oh, fun.
So that was fun. So it was a little punchy. And I was just making him laugh really loud. And he was like, "You're an angel right now, book." So we were trying to think about it. And I talked to him again today. And I'd come up with one, adventures, something about like adventures in mayhem and makeup.
That fits very well.
Right? You know me better than
Yeah.
most
I've
people,
known you for a long time. That
I've had a very
adventures in makeup and
interesting
mayhem.
life.
That is that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I had an interesting life.
This is kind of a recurring theme now because I use actually it's funny talking about the strike. I use ChatGPT to kind of come up with podcast show notes and title suggestions.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come up with something better than adventures in makeup and mayhem, then I'm using that for this.
Oh, that's awesome. Please do. I would love that. I think that's swell.
It's also kind of a nice sneaky way of getting title suggestions from guests.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I like always, Andy and I used to have this thing where we would like say something really bizarre. We'd be like, "That's the name of our band." That's
Yeah,
the name of band name. So should I ever start a band
There you go.
for my third act, I've got a list a mile wide
That's solid.
that I've been working on for those. But yeah.
So outside of work, what's a hobby that kind of lets you relax and takes you away from it?
You already know the answer, but I'm guessing I have to say it anyway. Music.
Oh, yeah.
Music, live.
You're at a concert, what, every weekend or so?
As much as I can. I follow 311 around the planet and have for 35 years. Jason Isbell in the 400 unit for the last 7 years. There's, several other bands and, that I spend all my money on either makeup and effects stuff and training and new books and stuff like that, because it's a write-off, and concerts and traveling to concerts.
Can't go wrong with a write-off.
Yeah, when I was with my ex.
Honestly, I wonder if you have a CPA, I wonder if concerts could be technically.
It is a write-off, actually.
It's research, right?
So is my streaming.
So all my streaming is a write-off. It's research, yeah.
Concerts, yeah, research and development.
By the way, any creative, get a CPA. They are a life. Get an accountant.
Well, I already knew that you don't need an accountant, but make sure you have an LLC.
Yeah, but I'm just saying with the they know.
Oh
what
yeah,
the IRS cares about and what they don't. Get a good one. Yeah, I can, anybody who wants, I'll refer you my guy. He's a magician.
Well, you got to get LA or Atlanta or New Orleans, like where they actually have a film union, to get people who do enough of it and enough of the and work with hair and special makeup effects.
Yeah, so get a CPA that is in your city and in your specialty in your industry.
Yeah, get referrals from people in the union or whatever.
It's a big. Not only will it save me money, but it'll literally I get tax returns. I don't know how, but I get tax returns.
But that's mostly because I spend all of my profits back into my business or going to concerts. And I'm really good with write-offs. So, but yeah, I mean, and you need to protect yourself and your assets and all that stuff. But yeah, this will be the first year where I'm actually hiring an industry CPA person here in Atlanta. I mean, it's not like any of us made very much money this year. Well, at least if you're in the union, with the strike being the longest in history now going on over.
I will publicly say now, because I've been working really hard on it. I'm kind of in a video business. Actually, I'll just promote it straight up. it's called the Video Business Academy, run by Nick Metzger. And it's really about helping production companies make a lot more money. And I've been working hard in their program, and actually I made just over $10,000 in October.
That's awesome. Then you can go and teach that to the masses, and
I will refer them to Nick because I don't want to steal the business. But yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got it. That's what I'm saying. It goes back to the training. Know what the state laws are, too. Don't be the person who was you don't have a cosmetology license and you did a wedding and then you get reported and, or that you can't, know that you need to ask people whether they're getting fake eyelashes, which also uses a form of latex for their glue, if they have a latex allergy, which is pretty common. Same with special effects.
You need to know.
It's silicone. I mean, there's options for everything, but you need to know, you can't use the same brush on everyone. You have to have enough clean brushes, and just spraying it with alcohol is not good enough. You have to have, everyone needs their own brushes. I mean, especially after the pandemic. But even before then, that was a rule because, pink eye, conjunctivitis of the eye, so many things that happens all the time when you're a sloppy, dirty, messy makeup artist. Bad dog.
All right, so I'm going to roll out the red carpet for you here to end off. Tell the people where to find you and what you got going on in your life right now.
Well, I finally had the foresight to let my agent and the big national agency I'm with, Exclusive Artists out of LA, know that I'd moved 3 months ago because I knew the CMAs were being televised live in Nashville, which is just 2-hour drive away.
Oh, yeah.
And so I called and I let him know on Friday, and he was like, perfect timing. I just got a call from the Golden Bachelor, who's a presenter, and then Peyton Manning, who's a very long time, 10 years.
Nobody knows who Peyton Manning is. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, he's hosting it. Man, he pimps everything. He's like the prostitute of marketing. But now he's hosting.
He's like the Ryan Reynolds, but the football version.
Yeah, but Ryan Reynolds is hot, and I would watch that man all the time. And Ryan Reynolds doesn't do commercials for Subway.
Yeah, he takes Ryan Reynolds does his own company's commercials. Peyton Manning does everybody else.
Right. Exactly. So, but he's hosting with Brad Paisley from the American Family Insurance.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah. And then there were several other people who had asked my agency, artists who were nominees or performing live at the CMAs, or walking the red carpet, or were presenting awards or whatever. Yeah, and so they said, "Oh my God, I just got all of this stuff," because that's what I do, the press junkets at Telluride International Film Festival and Sundance with them. And so it was like, why didn't I do this earlier? But then again, most stuff, because it's music, it's not affected by the strike.
Listen, right? Just instead of saying, why didn't I do this earlier, just realize that it's right time, right place.
Oh, no, totally. And it was. So maybe I'll throw a big monkey or a wrench in the whole Golden Bachelor thing, and then he'll meet me and he'll just be like, screw that show. I want her.
I'll call you from earlier. That will never happen.
You don't know that. I'm a sunny, nice.
Listen. I'm the eternal optimist. You go get your Golden Bachelor.
That's the thing. You know what? Brad Pitt would probably be my husband. He just hasn't met me yet.
Listen, hey.
You know, Noah, I'm charming AF. Who doesn't want some of this? Apparently a lot
Go
of
get
people.
yours. Go get
That's
yours.
my ex.
Oh my God. This has been a blast.
Oh yeah,
just love
so much
talking to
fun,
you.
bro. Yeah, I love talking to you too, and I can't wait. I'll come up not working this winter, and we will go ski
Yeah.
the frick out of.
See if you
the
can
winter
keep
park
up. See
in
if you can
Mary
keep up
Jane.
with us in the trees on our snowboards.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I only ski and do the makeup for Hot Dog Hans, the 3-time Olympic freestyle half-pipe downhill skier, Lindsey Vonn and Michaela Schifrin. But I'll try to keep up.
I'm telling. Listen, there's a difference between putting makeup on and being on. No, I'm kidding.
No, I have to ski. I have to ski with them down
you
like
do?
old terrain parks and all that stuff. Yeah, they do touch-ups.
I didn't know that. I thought we
I
just.
can afford to ski since the pandemic.
Okay, you're
Oh, no.
like, oh, I did it in
I
the church.
moved
You were
to Colorado
on the
to
hill with them.
ski.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
We moved here in 2000 just to ski because back then I worked for IBM. So
Oh,
and I
you moved here
skied
too.
Alaska
Okay, all right.
for 4
You'll probably dust us then.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't like snowboards. I don't like things. I like my legs autonomous. I like to have a yard sale. It doesn't seem like your shit comes off when you wipe out, which is why all of you have broken.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Wrist.
But you also don't have to go fishing out of up the hill.
Hey man, a good yard sale is pretty fun. But yeah, and I love tree runs. And so as I've gotten older and now that I have 7 spinal fusions, I use ski blades or snow blades so that I can still do moguls and go through all the beautiful tree runs that Colorado has to
Nice.
offer. They're the best, man. It's
best.
such a beautiful sport, so close to like flying. Very solitary. You put in your rock and roll.
Oh yeah, I know people that don't listen to music while they do it are psychopaths.
People who don't listen to music, period, are psychopaths. I
Sure.
can't even take a shower without listening to music. I create
You and my wife both.
Yeah, I make playlists for all of my hard makeup designs because it helps with my ADHD. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, awesome. Have an
Yeah.
awesome rest of your night and kill it in Atlanta.
I'll be
And,
packing and prepping for my 5 a.m. flight in a few hours.
so everybody think about when you see well, we'll see. When's it come? When are the CMAs coming out?
I think it's on.
This next
But
week?
I think it's this. It's like this week. Like
No.
either Thursday or
This will
Friday.
be out a little later than that, but if you go watch the rerun of it, just
It's
remember Cory worked on a few of those faces.
And also, I did Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank here in Atlanta. It was my second
right.
week here, and she was amazing. No ego at all for the woman who owns all of Manhattan and is a billionaire. I loved her. She reminded me of my grandma, but
Just a total, just a boss ass grandma.
Oh yeah, well, my grandma was pretty boss ass.
Yeah, I
So.
remember.
But yeah, it was really great. So yeah, just like stay positive, do the work, and believe in yourself, man, because nobody else is gonna do it for you.
That is, I can't think of a better way to end it right there. For everybody watching and listening, I will see you next time.